Welcome back to another video here at Penultimate Trading, where we focus on trading system development and trading psychology. I created this platform because I was once a struggling trader with inconsistency, emotional decisions in my trading, and feeling stuck in my journey, until one day I realized I had to change my entire approach to trading. So if you're ready to transform your trading and achieve the results you've always been looking for, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your friends, and turn on the notifications so you never miss a step in your journey or ours. Check the link in the descriptions for our free resources we offer, and book a free discovery call to see what else we can offer you. Check out all the social media platforms, and with that, let's get started. Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we're just going to backtest the previous week of Nasdaq. It is Friday, it's about to end, the market's about to close. We're just going to backtest the previous week. I was sick most of this week, so I didn't trade too much this week, and I was also just trying out a new way of trading or refining my trading, just trading with pro trend only. So I just want to go back and backtest this week and see what it was like, what the results could have been. I didn't really trade too much because I was sick and getting busy with other things, so I did miss a few trades, but we're just going to go back and see and recap and see what happened. So let's jump right into it. We'll go replay back to Monday. Go back a little further. And this is just building on the previous videos backtesting session, so you might see some previous analysis over here. So let's replay a little more. I think this ended right at 2, so replay. So when the market opened back up, I was considering it into an uptrend because of this previous structure over here. And then it looked like on Friday, I had mentioned it looked like it could switch to a downtrend because it had consolidated or finished a little bit lower on Thursday, but it was still within the middle of this range, or this day's range for Wednesday. So I was saying, okay, it could possibly switch down to a downtrend, and it looks like that's what it did on Friday, and on Monday's open. So switch down. I still technically don't like to consider a downtrend until a day is fully closed, and that's what happened on the end of Monday. So we'll look at Monday as if I'm looking for buys, because I would still consider an uptrend until I see 2 full bearish days. So I wouldn't count it as a bearish day on Thursday, just because it still is finishing up in the middle of this structure basically. So I would only count it if it finished below after this day of downtrend. So for this day, I just look for buys on Monday. And this is London session here. Let's fast forward to New York session a little faster. And here I'd only be looking for buys here, just because I'm still counting into a downtrend until this day finishes. And the reason is because I know it's based on like structure and just thoughts about what Nasdaq can do. It can, of course, have these days where it ranges a lot, but what in theory could happen here is this could literally just be a pullback to the wick something over here and take out some liquidity here, or mitigate some type of imbalance here, like this or this down here. And it literally could have finished the day up still higher and been bullish, just couldn't just been a retracement here, then just could have finished bullish higher here. So that's why I like to wait at least 2 days and waiting one direction before I say it switched a trend. So then I'll just go back to the lower time frame to see if we see any opportunities for a buy here. Only one I'm seeing so far, at least for now, would be this opportunity potentially here. Nope. Yeah, it would be actually entering right there. I like to enter in at the macro open, so this would have been entry here for me. Looks like it would have been a loss, but it's okay, it's just a valid loss. Can move on to the next trade. And I would say actually I see one more. I'll mark that one up. So it would have been a loss here. Yeah, just a valid loss there. And I'm not really getting too much into the technical analysis part of it. It's just I want you guys to see the process of backtesting and going through and continuously refining. So this is like the end of the week, but I'm just refining and seeing how I could have traded this week with a fresh pair of eyes, and then also I'm just refining compared to how I normally would trade with compared to just trading with just trend, or comparing that to how I would normally trade, what that would be like. I'll probably make a separate video comparing my other way I would trade and see what the results will be like with these weeks. So this will be a really iffy trade. I think I've seen two like this week, so I would have potentially this could have been valid. Let's see. I think to say, yeah, with start the accumulation there. I like to say see at least one of my confluences within a macro time frame. So I would say I could say the accumulation started here inside the macro time frame, then it went through. This is a really large range trade that I'm not sure I would have took. I probably wouldn't have took, because there was a similar one later on in the week I don't think I took, so I just skipped out on it, and that one ended up going through. I'm sure we'll get to. I think it was on Thursday. Let's see if I see another entry time or entry model time for this time frame. Potentially, I would say potentially here. No, not there. Yeah, no entry for this time frame. I was gonna say there was potentially one here, but I don't like how it would admit, or there's no imbalance here for it to mitigate before it's already distributed, or started the distribution at least. So no entry time from there in that time frame. And yeah, I would say no entry model here, so we just gotta wait and see if this one goes through. It's looking like it could have been wicked out here, so let's just go to a lower time frame and check. Yeah, it looks like it would have just hit it. So it would have been just two losses on Monday. And now that I see that it's a bearish day, I probably would have counted it as this as the second bearish day, and say, okay, it's in a downtrend. Let's look for sells then on Tuesday. And this is it's potentially a questionable way I'm looking at it for now, at least for I'm thinking about switching to this, because sometimes the market does consolidate, so it's going to be a little more unclear how to trade, and sometimes it will range a little more. This will be a lot more beneficial way to trade, as I can see these previous results compared to these regular how I would trade regular results. So it just kind of depends on how I want to take advantage of it. So let's see, we go to the next day. We're looking for sells on this day just because it's finished bearish the last 2 days compared to at least Wednesday's high. And yeah, sometimes I'm looking for sells. I can look for liquidity sweeps, but still I'm looking for either some type of reversal or some type of continuation. So let's look. Let's see this sweep here right before, or right towards the end of London. And this is a little, I mean, I say iffy, but it's a little more ugly of a setup here. How you can take advantage of this if you want to take a larger setup like this. I think I took this trade actually, but it took a smaller setup or a smaller range setup. I would say I took. Let's see, I know I took a smaller range within here. It is a little choppy with it, but I want to say I took probably this setup here, and then got worked out here. But I think this larger range might have been the key move for this. Well, let's see if that plays out. So just go for 2R here. Let's see, looks like it probably just missed the take profit, just missed it, yeah, so that would have just come with it, and yeah, we just had to take the loss there, move on to the next trade. Yeah, make sure, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, it could have been probably, if I would have entered in right at the open for the macro, maybe I would have been able to be fortunate that it worked out. And let's see, yeah, it would have been 2R there. Let's try it again. I mean, I'd normally just go for the regular setup, that normal setup what the entry would be, which would have been down here, and count my take profit there. But it looks like I could have got a little lucky here with how it entry would have been for me and how I do the entries, and it would have been take profit, but I still count it as a loss because it didn't hit the original take profit. So then we go on the next time frame, and I'm not seeing a setup there. So no harm, no foul there, and just go into the next setup. Same potential entry here. And that was a loss too, so. So yeah, that would have just been that for the day, and just move on to the next day. And at this point, let's see. Oops, marked that wrong. Oops. So usually mark this up by a day. So this will be Monday at 12, and then mark Tuesday up so you can see Tuesday's structure. Go to midnight to midnight basically, or at least the high and low of the day, which happened to be around midnight. So then this day would be a key day because I want to see if it's going to finish above Tuesday to see if I want to continue and say switch to an uptrend. So if it finishes lower, then I would say okay, it's still in a downtrend. But if it finishes at least above here and not below this range or area, I would say it's going to an uptrend then. So this day I would probably still look for sells here. This will be based on, let's see. Well, let's look at the lower time to see if there's any sells that present us. And this could be the flaw that I'm looking at with potentially refining to this way. Is I might have to change how I look into the larger time frame structure. I like the looking for 2 days in a row for the confirmed trend switch, but sometimes that allows you to miss those days where trend is switching and it's being really clear on that first day instead of the second day that it's switched, and you're probably missing out on some moves or not taking advantage of all the moves I probably could. So that probably comes with it, and of course you're getting less trades just going with the trend, so it has its own flaws and things I have to take into consideration. So just looking at it, comparing it now basically. So here we're looking for sells here. None for entry so far there. I can look at more, see some liquidity being swept here during London session and pre-New York session. Would have been an entry there. It looks like it would have been a loss. At least this first one, yeah, would have been a loss. And this probably could have been another entry. Just something higher, maybe like a higher time looks a little better, but this could have been a valid entry too here. Just had to stick with it and trust the analysis and see, just take this trade here, entry there, and see what happens. Let's see. So I probably should go for 2R there. Delete that. So we can look for another entry here. And yeah, this could have been an entry here too, actually. Let's see. I don't know if this scaling is going to work, but it should be basically just a continuation of the larger trade or the trade before. Let's see if we can see another trade opportunity here, which it looks like we actually do. entry here. So yeah, I'm not looking for, I don't know if all these trades are going to go through or not, but I'm just trying to mark up and see and take every valid trade. That's what I'm just trying to do. Make sure I get a good data point at least, and understand what it's going to look like if I refine to this. So yeah, let's see. This looks like this one was a loss. Let's go ahead and zoom out so that make it go through faster. And it looks like these two would have been wins, so it would have been 2 wins, 2 losses that day, and this one was a win. So move on to the next day. And now on this day, it's looking like it's probably gonna close bullish. So I would say now for this Thursday, we can look for buys. So move like this. Mark it up to at least midnight. Just like see, yes, it's another pretty much bullish day. So now that Tuesday and Wednesday have been bullish, I would say, okay, it's switch trends. Let's go to Thursday. Let's see if we can find a buy here. We got news. We got a lot of liquidity being swept here for sell side liquidity, which I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but since I'm just looking for moves with the trend, I would say it's a little less important. I already know I'm still gonna look for a buy regardless if it's liquidity being swept or not, because I'm looking for either a reversal or some type of continuation. So let's say, yeah, no entry here. It's already mitigated when it's imbalanced there. And then there's no more sweep, or not another model here, because no more liquidity being swept here, I would say. Potentially an entry here. Let's see what this looks like. This is the accumulation. Let's see. Could be valid. It's forming in the macro and then swept here. Then it mitigates this part. Then it breaks it. Then comes down and sweeps more. So I would say it's invalid, since it's mitigating all of the imbalance and trying to break the accumulation. I would say it's invalid here to look for a trade. So I'll just delete that and then move on to the next time frame to trade. And that's important. Whenever you're back, making sure you understand when and where you look for a trade, making sure all the trades that you're taking or do not take it, follow your steps or don't follow your steps and rules. So you're just making sure you're trying to make it as accurate as real life trading as possible. Which is also the benefit of this replay button. I don't know what's going to happen next, which is why I'm using it. Again, it really helps out a little bit, just to make it more realistic feeling. So still looking for a buy here. And potentially we have a buy in this area. Depends on what price does now over the next few candles. And so yeah, no buy. It sweeps more liquidity, just goes down. Doesn't break that zone. And then we'll look for the last opportunity here in this macro for how I trade. And we have potential buy here. And it sweeps and breaks the zone. And so yeah, this is where this happened yesterday. So I did almost potentially take this trade. I guess I just missed it because I didn't really follow a feeling I kind of developed with backtesting over time with Nasdaq. And so it's not really a rule, but I probably should make it one. I should probably always enter in at the latest imbalanced form here above any accumulation zone, because I've noticed that I know it was a really large stop loss zone, so I wanted to lower it down and just probably use like here to make it a little more cleaner, a little less stop loss range, so I could be a shorter range to take profit too, and just a smaller trade. Because I wasn't really comfortable with how large the stop loss was, but I've noticed that Nasdaq will take off, form a lot of imbalance, and then mitigate it at just that imbalance, the last one that's formed, and then take off again. and you won't really be able to get an entry if you always wait for it to return to its original imbalance part or imbalance range. And I've noticed that I probably should have entered in the latest one, and I decided to just wait out and sit and see if it would come back down, but it never did. And so it mitigates here, and I know this trade goes through, and that's how I missed out on it. So that just comes back to, of course, backtesting, and make sure you always have a feeling for the pair, because those little nuances and things like that can cost you a profit or help you or make you miss out on something. So yeah, I missed out on this, and it looks like this is probably one of the key wins of the week. Cause it looks like we'll be at about 3 wins and maybe 3 losses, or 3 or 4 losses at this point for the week so far. So let's see. Yeah, and it goes through. I think this one went through like right at session end, maybe. So I had to, it was like a 4 or 5 hour trade, I think. Maybe it went through it right after or at session end, or like Asian session that night actually. So I know this one goes through, so I'll just mark it as a win, and we'll just keep playing it out. Let's go with the 5 minute, make it a little faster. There you go. Hit later, not Asian session night, around 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock at night last night. And then so we see it's another bullish day. So you still are going to look for buys on Friday with no hints of switching a trend, for at least how I'm looking at it for now, at least for Friday. And yeah, I didn't really trade too much today, so probably if it was a move, I definitely did miss it. But let's see. So we get to the 8:30 news here, and we're seeing a bunch of sell-side liquidity being swept. There is a little bit of buy-side being swept, but I'm still only looking for buy, so it's not really relevant to what I need to do right now. And then let's see if we find down or look down and find an entry for a quick buy. Let's see. If anything, it looks like it could be a loss here if we would have took this. So yeah, this would have been a loss. Mark that up as a valid loss. Yeah, no valid buy here, I would say. So look into the next macro for the next opportunity. So this is an opportunity here. So yeah, this one would have went through. I didn't take this trade. I definitely missed this one earlier. So yeah, I've been in and out this week. Just was a little sick and got a little busy. So yeah, missed this one. And let's see if there's another trade opportunity here. It's looking like there's no more opportunities here for this one at least. I would say actually it's possible you could take this setup here. Either this one, or probably I would have took this lower one and enter in there, but I probably would have took this lower setup actually. You can see what this one looks like. This entry would have been right at the macro open. And it's just, I prefer the lower trades, smaller ranges as possible for the trade to travel. Yeah, so looks like this would have just missed take profit. So yeah, that would have been just a valid loss. So yeah, that would have been it for the day. Whoops, move that back. Just cancel that because it's only a few more hours after. And so yeah, I would just, let's see, have that would have been most of the week. So it's a few trades. Let's see. Let's count the losses out first. So 2, 4, 6, 8 losses there. And this is just going with pro trend. Of course, I'm not counting the other way just yet. I'm gonna make a separate video for that and compare. If you can see them up here on the right, where I kind of compared so far with at least the week of January 13th through 17th. So we'll see what this one gives. 8 losses there, and then we have 4 wins. So it doesn't look like it's on the best percentage, but that would still have been probably a break-even week. We can just looking at my average. I know my average risk to reward ratio is around 2.21. So if you want to just say like 2.2 for each win and minus 1% for each loss, if we just say I'm risking 8% or 1% per trade, then I would have been allowed to calculate it out now. But let's see, double check. Yeah, so 4 wins here, 8 losses. So yeah, if we would do 4.4, or sorry, 4 times 2.2, you get 8.8, and obviously you minus 1% for each trade, you do minus 8. Of course, you have like, fees and swaps, so factor that in. It's pretty much a break-even week, but if it's not, fees and swaps, we'll say it's 0.8% gain, so it's pretty much a break-even week there, which it's not the worst thing. Of course, it sucks that it's not really profit, so it's still just break-even week. So yeah, I'll compare that. I'll make another video be a little longer just because I had to look for both ways in my bias, with not just buys and sells based on trends. So it'll be a little longer. So I'll make a video comparing doing how I would trade regularly and not just pro trend only. And we'll see what that looks like. So I'm sure it'll be more trades. It was 12 trades here and there actually. So the other way probably be around 15-ish, maybe 17-ish trades. It just kind of depends on what price gives. So I'll see you guys then. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for other videos and check out other videos on my channel.